Latency is one of the most annoying things when you're recording, but you can fix it. You can decrease the buffer size, you can increase your interface's sample rate, you can deactivate heavy plugins, you can activate the live mode on plugins, you can turn off Cubase's delay compensation, and you can turn on sample shifting. But to get all of that right, you'll need some more info. First of all, what's causing the latency? Several things. One of them is the audio driver. In Cubase, go to audio settings, and then here you have your driver. And then if you go into the control panel, you can choose a buffer size. And that's telling you how many samples the audio driver is saving up and processing before sending them from you recording to Cubase, and the other way around, from Cubase to your headphones, so you can hear what you're recording. The more samples it's buffering, the more time it's going to take for the signal to make that whole round trip. And so the more latency you'll experience. You can see this here. If I go from a small buffer size to a bigger one, the combined input and output latency is going to start being very noticeable, which means that if you sing something, you'll hear yourself back with a little delay, which might throw off your timing. Same thing when you press a key on your MIDI keyboard. So intuitively, you'd say, well, let's choose the smallest buffer size. The thing is, depending on the size of your project, your computer needs this buffer time to process everything. So if the buffer size is too small, you'll get clicks, pops, dropouts, all of that. But there are ways to lower the buffer size either way. Let's have a look. So the buffer size is measured in samples, and here you see the sample rate of your audio interface. Mine says 48 kilohertz, which means that every second it takes 48,000 samples or snapshots of my waveform to convert it from analog to digital. If you increase this, you get more samples per second, which means less time per sample. So the buffer fills up faster and empties faster. Let me show you. Here I'm in the software that comes with my interface. So let me increase the sample rate. I'm not saying do this because it'll eat up your CPU and your audio files will get too big, but just to show you what's going on. If I now go to Cubase and say, yes, match the project sample rate, so Cubase doesn't have to be resampling the whole time, you can see here the latency is almost 0. And while 192 kilohertz is way too much for the average project and the average computer, if your interface is set to 44.1, you could consider raising it to 48 kilohertz. Besides buffering and sample rate, you can adjust some things within your project as well. First, let's look at the plugins. They need time to process a signal. If you go to your mix console and over here in the window layout, if you check channel latency, you can see how much latency your plugins are adding. And the delay is going to be different for every track, but you don't hear that because Cubase compensates for it, so all tracks play in sync. A side effect of that compensation is that the whole project is going to get shifted, which is the latency that you're hearing when you're recording, in combination with your buffer setting. So what can we do about those plugins? You can go look for the plugins that cause the most latency, like this one, and then disable it, not just bypass it. So Option or Alt click the bypass button, and now it has disappeared from the list. For stock plugins, you can do something different. You can go in and turn on the live mode, which stops the plugin from looking ahead, which causes latency. Or instead of all that, you can just click one button to deactivate all plugins that cause too much latency and switch the plugins that can to live mode, and that's this button, Constrain Delay Compensation. If you don't see this button, you can right-click and check this one. And you can also add it to the toolbar. If you click this, Cubase stops compensating for the plugin latency, which means it's going to have to turn off or deactivate a bunch of plugins, so there's less latency. Now, if an essential plugin for your recording gets deactivated with this button, you cannot force it to turn back on. So then you might have to go in manually, like I was saying before. And two more things to keep in mind for this one that happened to a friend. One, don't forget to turn the constraint back off, because when you're done recording and you're listening and you're like, why is it sounding so bad? It's because half of your plugins are still disabled. So turn it back off. But two, before you turn it back off, maybe turn down the level on your interface, because maybe a plugin like a limiter got disabled, and then for your recording, you turned the level up, and then when the limiter comes back on and you press play, nuke. Something else you can do to reduce the CPU load so you can record at a lower buffer size is to freeze, bounce, and render tracks so that your computer doesn't have to process the plugins and instruments. I did make a separate video about that, which I'll link to in the description. And lastly, something I hear about pretty often, what if you record something and the recording is out of sync, even though you recorded it correctly? That can happen if there's a miscommunication between your devices about the latency. In that case, you can go back to audio settings, and here on record shift, you can have Cubase shifted into place every time automatically. If your recording is early and you want to move it to the right in the project, try a negative value here. If the recording is too late and you need to move it to the left, try a positive value. And a very quick side note, in case you spotted this one, adjust for record latency. This has to do with your input buses, these ones. If you put plugins on those to record, I never do that, but if you do, you can have this on. I hope that helped. For more Cubase tutorials, check out this playlist. Thanks for watching and have fun making music. Bye. Oh, ow.